Nashville with 3 lovely YA authors. We've got Jen Calonita, the author of the Secrets of My Hollywood Life series, and a brand new series, Bells, which is about a teen girl who is forced out of her comfort zone when she has to move in with preppy relatives. And Elizabeth Eulberg, who's the author of 3 novels, including most recently Take a Bow, which takes place at an elite performing arts high school, and Jackson Pearce, who's the author of 4 novels, including most recently Purity, which is about a teen girl who struggles with honoring her mother's dying wishes while still remaining true to herself. And she has a new book coming out in the fall, and I believe Jen does as well. So,
not me. I only do 1 a year. I'm a slacker.
So thank you so much for coming to our office, and it's so exciting to have 3 authors here together. They are doing a reading tonight in Nashville at a Barnes & Noble. So first, you all 3 write about teenagers, so I was hoping you could tell me what book had the biggest impact on you when you were in high school and the same age as the characters that you write about.
That's good.
I don't know who's going to answer that.
I think we both loved Sweet Valley High series. What a surprise. Jen and I both liked Sweet Valley High. And I used to go to the library like every day and bike in the summer. And then I ran out of it. My mom, who was a librarian, then handed me Cynthia Voight's Homecoming.
Me too!
Shut up! Well, how did you not know that?
I've never heard you say that before.
That's crazy.
Love that.
My gosh.
I've never.
The Sweet Valley High books were tough though, weren't they? Because I felt like there was like 100 million of them.
There were.
And my mother would get so mad because we'd stay at my grandparents' beach house in the summer, and it was very far from an independent bookstore. And so she'd buy me one, and I'd be done by that evening.
Yeah. But that's why I went to the library.
So were you a Jessica or an Elizabeth?
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Definitely Elizabeth.
Because I read the twins, the younger set.
Oh. Jackson's way younger than us.
I read the younger
infuriating.
But what's funny is because I love those, and I loved Boxcar Children. My mom kept them in the top of her closet, and she had to dole them out, and she was like, "All right, this is all you get for the day, okay?" And I would sneak up. I'm in her closet, But I never, oddly enough, I don't feel like there were a lot of. Or that I wasn't necessarily aware of a lot of books when I got maybe into 13 and 18. I was reading adult books because I didn't feel like there was enough available, and now there is, which is lovely.
Yeah, I read mostly Stephen King by the time I got to high school. So.
Flowers in the Attic.
Oh yeah, you did. You did.
Well, the 3 of you are on tour now, and you've done several visits already. What is the most embarrassing thing or the weirdest thing that has ever happened to you while on book tour?
The most embarrassing thing or the weirdest thing? One time somebody brought me 2 pounds of homemade fudge. And this is not what
That's a cool
this
thing.
is independent. Well, and it was it did not look appetizing. And they brought it to me, and they're like, "I made this for you." And I was like, "That sounds delicious. I'll eat it later." And then I take a bite now. And I did, and it was actually fine. But there's something very discomforting about somebody passing you a bag full of fudge, which, in the middle of and you're in front of people, and they're all like, "She made it herself," and I'm like, "I'm sure she did."
Did you read? Did you read The Help?
Oh, I did read The Help.
That's what would be going through my mind.
That is exactly what I was thinking of. And what was funny is after I tried a piece, I was like. But after that, somebody was like, "She has a secret ingredient." I was like, "I'm good. Don't tell me what it is. I want to know."
It's funny.
So that's the weirdest thing.
I don't know. Things happen to me all the time. I don't get embarrassed very easily because I'm just kind of a dork anyways. But one of my favorite things was I did this school with a couple other authors, and this kid came up, this boy who was 15, was like, "What's your favorite novel of all time?" And I was like, "Oh gosh, I don't know, that's really hard." And I was like, "Let me think about that. What's your favorite novel of all time?" He's like, "Oh, well, I'm sorry to say it's not one of yours." And I was like, I would never.
Believe.
I know, it's funny. It's you're a 15-year-old boy, so I don't think you would read any of my books. But I just like how he literally was just thought I was going to be crushed that he wasn't going to say. I would never think anybody would ever say one of my books. But I was laughing so hard being like, "Trust me, I really didn't think that you'd say one of mine." He's like, "Well, I'm sorry to say I haven't." And I was like, it's okay. But I just was laughing so hard at that he thought, I think he thought I was going to
Not one of mine.
Is that one of mine? You don't like the Lonely Hearts Club where I make fun of boys for halfway through the book? Really?
I was going to say Friday night when I was driving around Atlanta because Elizabeth and
that
I
is good.
had a Girl Scouts event Saturday morning in Atlanta. the Girl Scouts, we were doing a writing workshop. They knew we were coming, and they were told that we were going to have our books there to purchase. And then we found out last minute they weren't going to be there. And I thought about all those poor Girl Scouts who might have wanted the book. And so Jackson drove me to a store, and then I got in a cab and I drove to some more stores and went around Atlanta buying Elizabeth and my books to have at the event. And the cab driver was so confused. He's like, "You must really like books. Whose books are you buying?" I'm like, "My own." And he felt really bad for me.
And at the first bookstore, they were like, "Do you have some sort of book club?" And she's like, "Kind of."
Like, what do you say?
I guess you could call it that.
Buying my own books.
No, probably was worse was the next day when we returned some of them.
Never mind.
We were like, "Oh, we need to return these, but they're actually our books, so we're going to sign them for stock as well. Is that okay?"
She didn't see the store manager's face. She's like, "I don't believe a word they're saying." We're like, "No, really, these are ours, and we're returning them, but we're going to sign them."
ID.
Okay, you know what? Yes, that.
So when did you know that you had made it as a professional author?
When did
Or when did you finally
I still
feel
don't
like a
know.
real
Have I? Wait, it might be now.
What are you saying? Hang on.
Right now, no.
You know, it's such a strange business because you really can be like on top of the world with a new deal one day, and then, you know, a year later you've got books coming out, but you're still really concerned, like, when is my next book coming out? And it really has nothing to do with like necessarily money or readers or reviews. It really has more to do with just it's when you're making money on your creativity, you're like, is it going to run out? Is it going to run out? Is it going to run out? Because unlike, you know, your college degree, that's never going to run out. If you got your, or whatever other job it might be, it's just a very nerve-wracking job. So I still don't know that I've made it. I'm still worried.
No, but I like seeing the book in the bookstore. It is fun.
That is really.
Or if you run into a girl in the bookstore who's holding your book.
That has never happened to
I
me.
harassed one Friday night because she was holding the book in the bookstore, and I'm like, "Hi!" I scared her half to death. I'm like, "I wrote that book."
I did get recognized because I do videos too, and I got recognized at a Starbucks once, and I was just like, "That's right, you recognize my videos, you know." And she's like, "I've never read your books."
You're like, "What?"
Right? Okay, thanks.
I got recognized at the Italian ice shop with
Did
my
you
whole
really?
family last month. They said, "Are you Jen Calonita?" And I'm like, "What?"
Why, yes, I am.
She goes, "I love your books." I was so excited I could have stayed there all night. I was like, so happy.
And then you're afraid you're more excited than the fan is.
Yeah.
Like, do you want more pictures with me? Because
Yeah.
you know who I was.
I made sure I gave her a nice tip. You know.
My dad went to go buy my books at a bookstore, and the person took the book and goes, Elizabeth Eulberg, that's a good book. And he's like, "You like it?" He's like, "You could never go wrong with one of her books. She's very popular." My dad hands his credit card and was like, "Look at my name." And he's like, "It's my daughter." So that made me feel good. That made my dad feel good. Because it is a very solitary profession. And so I wonder what authors did before they had the internet or Twitter to find out that people actually read your books and had response. I mean, it's called a pen and paper, but like, you know, but it was.
Well, and how they knew they made it too.
Yeah.
Because was it just, I wouldn't know. I mean, now at least you have a lot of external things, but most of them have to do with social
Media,
or social media or something to do with that.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
I was like, have I made it? According to BookPage, I'm going to put that on the board. BookPage, you made it as an author.
They asked us that question, so.
Did it, Mom?
Do any of you have any unusual habits, hobbies, or skills that would surprise your readers?
Oh, I can juggle.
I've been trying to get her to do it. She won't do it with
juggle,
books.
and I take aerial silk
tennis balls
classes,
here
so
at
I can
BookPage.
do, like, if you've got a rope somewhere. Yeah, and I wanted aerial silk for my house, and my dad's like, "You're going to hang yourself." And I'm like, "No, I swear, it'll be fine." And he's like, "You're going to hang yourself accidentally." So he won't put it up for me. He won't hang it, but he's like, he can do that. And so I'm like, okay, if you don't do it, I'm just going to hire some Joe Blow, and he's going to do it. Dad, you know you don't want that. You know you don't want to trust that. I'm just saying. But yeah, I can juggle. It's a good party trick. That's my only skill. Jimmy?
I'm amazing at karaoke. No, I kind of am. No, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm open with stuff. Like, I really love music. I love playing music, and I do like to karaoke. I'm not a very good singer, but
You can play the guitar.
I can play the guitar and drums and piano.
You guys need to work up some after reading entertainment.
I'm going to juggle, and you can do that.
Yeah.
And what will you do for our...
I mean, I could take pictures. I love doing
You
photography.
go do the scrapbook. She loves the scrapbook.
I
She can scrapbook on our
to
tour.
scrapbook. I do love to scrapbook. I'm a big
It would be
scrapbooker.
the only scrapbook / guitar author event that you ever scrapbooked.
That's
I'm
very
sure
true.
it'd be, like,
That's
the only
very
one of
true.
its
So
kind.
I could scrapbook the tour, yes.
I'll sing while you juggle and you take pictures to document it and then scrapbook it. Done.
We just figured that out.
Done.
There you go.
Amazing.
Awesome.
And finally, if you could be friends with any book character, one you've written or anyone else, who would you like to be friends with? Be your character BFF.
Character BFF. Someone else go first.
Hermione.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh.
That's a good one. Can I have it be PETA, but I make out with him?
Oh,
Yes, I know, I got it. I called him. I called him. I'm making out with PETA.
Now I felt confused and conflicted because I was doing a rundown of the wealthiest book characters I knew, and I was like,
I almost went with Darcy.
I was going to go with Darcy.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, they could probably shower me with some gifts, but then I think of PETA.
God,
PETA can make a nice
Shower me
cake.
with bread or something.
Yeah.
I
I love carbs. I love
girlfriend.
cake.
I went for the
Do you like how I go automatically to who can I make out with?
I know.
Well, I go to who can buy me things. So
I know.
between the two of us,
You're
we've
like,
got
who
some
would be a good
problems.
friend?
I'm like, Hermione would be a great friend. And
And I'm like,
I bet I
and
could
then
get
you
a
each give
car.
better answers, and I'm like, darn.
We're learning a lot about ourselves
Yes,
during
we
this
are.
interview.
Well, I thought that was going to be my last question, but I actually have one more question. Can you all tell me about what your next book is going to be about?
yes.
Just a little, kind of get us excited.
Yes. But somebody else has to go first. Oh, now I've called it.
Fine. I have the next winter. My next Belle's book is going to be called Winter White, and it'll be out this fall. And it's the continuing story of Izzy and Mira, and they're going to Cotillion.
So because I'm a slacker, my book's not coming out until I think March or April, and it's called Revenge of the Girl with the Great Personality. And it's a memoir, no. But it's a memoir. But it's about a girl who's like the clever, funny sister, and she has a much younger sister who does the toddler beauty pageant. So she kind of gets sick of the fact that, like, you know, her sister's the pretty one, she's the smart one, and just how kind of society is, and her family isn't based on looks, so she decides to glam herself up for an experiment. And it was crazy because there's a lot of parallels between high school and beauty pageants when I was writing the book. That all of a sudden I was like, yeah,
Is anyone who watches Toddlers and Tiaras?
yes, that was research. And I'm actually just finished the copy edit. And I'm like, what excuse do I have to use to watch Toddlers and Tiaras now? But like, you know, just got to keep up on it for the next when I do press for the book.
And now one of them has a spin-off show, doesn't she?
Eden Woods has one, yes, called Eden's World or something.
Yeah,
like that.
and it was on in a hotel room, and I was watching it, and like my face went from like, to like,
no,
like as I watched them buzz around this child who really just doesn't. I mean, she seems to be having a nice time, but like they're like Eden's career, and I'm like, she's like 6.
Yeah, no, it's
Very strange.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get an email now from like Eden's manager or something.
You
I'm sorry,
right.
she's beautiful. She's so talented. Anyway.
I'm like,
I know,
stop
right?
talking.
Sorry about that. So Purity literally just came out, and it's about a girl trying to lose her virginity in 5 weeks. It's also sort of about God and loss and mourning and a lot of other things. But then this fall, I have Fathomless coming out, which is the 3rd book in my fairy tale series. So Sisters Red is a retelling of Red Riding Hood, Sweetly was a retelling of Hansel and Gretel, and Fathomless is a retelling of The Little Mermaid. I'm very excited. It's dark and mysterious and oceany, and I love it. So.
Okay, well, as I think everyone can all see from this video, Elizabeth and Jackson or Jen are hilarious and fun, and you should all come and go to their events when you can, and if they're not in your city, then just read their books and visit their websites. And
We're online, Facebook, Twitter, we're online.
That's how they're gonna find me.
I know.
Eden's gonna find you.
Yeah, I know. Edenwood. JacksonPearce.com.